Now that we've gotten through the how that sales thing supposed to work, talk about paying them. What are you guys paying your sales guys? The suggested range is $3 to $4 grand. So we need to talk about this before we do anything else, because this is where it goes sideways. First of all, if the salary is high enough, you're going to be more picky about who you bring on. If the salary is lower, you're less picky, right? That's why if it were me, I'm going to try to keep the salary up there. I think it's about the same though, right? 2,500, 2,000, pretty commensurate with the same, although I don't know about that, pretty close. All right, anybody else? What are you paying your guys? A month, a week? What's the base? Any other numbers? Couple grand a month? That's pretty good. I guess you guys are making that work. I think so too, because if I'm not mistaken, like the better the lead quality, in other words, you guys do a tremendous amount of inbound. So obviously there's more, they're making money from the closing. They were outbound, they were calling Google ads or Facebook ads, and that's how they were calling. Even though those properties might go under contract, the sales cycles are really long. There's less closings and more of them fall apart. Almost half of the people that you got coming in are planning on moving within the next 3 to 6 months. So for people to say, oh, I'm having a hard time getting inbound leads, Todd, you don't understand my market this. I don't know, man. We got guys that generate 1,000 a month, 1,000 inbound leads a month. And I'm like, yeah, that's the way the system works if you guys are doing it. So the money has a say in it now. So the better the lead quality, the more closings there are, so you can get away with less salary. Depending on where you are and how it's going, that's the range, 2 grand to 4 grand. Think in the playbook here or in the agent agreement, inside sales agent agreement, I think it says 3,000. So there you go. You need your inside sales guys to make probably around 65 or better a year. Otherwise, they're going to get stolen. The good ones are going to get poached, taken from you. So you got to get them into a range where they're going to do well inside. Both of these guys net over $1 million a year. Their net after expenses is over $1 million, which means they have margin. They've got good gross income. They're really good on capitalization in their business. They have good inbound leads, right? So if I'm coming to the conference and I don't have those things, I want my people to be around those people. And so that's how you solve issues. Don't try to go it alone. Do a good job of copying the benchmark. That's my takeaway on it. So that was the next piece in the puzzle is, what are you going to pay them? The higher the income, you're going to be more selective. Now, how many of you guys have you tried to use VAs? People in the Philippines or Nicaragua. There are people in the Philippines that are really good sales guys, and there are people in the United States that suck at sales. There's great people all around the world, but this is such a high value deal and requires pretty consistent first 3 months of hovering and leverage. Like you can't just turn them loose, hope it works out. You've got to work at this position. And stateside seems to be the gold mine. I don't know any successful real estate sales teams that net over $1 million using VAs as inside sales. What about not necessarily virtual outside the country, but virtual like inside? Maybe I live in Atlanta and I want to work for you as an ISA. Would you guys do that? So there you go. So that gets into who's the best candidate for this role. Now, I'm not going to say that you won't, there's not some people out there that have a VA in Nicaragua or the Philippines or some other part of the country or world that doesn't crush it virtually as an ISA. That is not the rule that we've been able to discover. I think it has more to do with language, culture, understanding how real estate is done, being able to see a mental picture when talking to the prospect. You guys understand that mental picture? People that have a different mental picture when they're talking to the customer are going to be better sales guys. They can anticipate what's coming because I'm dealing with a real estate transaction, so they get to see what's coming. So I attribute most of it to that. Secondly, the disconnect in management. You can work together as the day goes on collaborating on getting more deals done and shadowing training. It's just a bit different there. Unless we are able to replicate those things in a virtual environment, then you're going to run into that. Now, we're pretty good running a virtual environment, as you guys know, because we run YHSJR Holdings that way, but we have high leverage people, super successful people that are on payroll that run and manage on a day-to-day basis virtual people, but the virtual people have an office and they're on camera all the time and everything they do is being recorded all day long. So it's called surveillance. So we were able to make that work, but I think stateside is probably going to work the best for you. So if you look right here, the ISA recruiting system is built around. So this appointment-driven model that we run, again, that's our system. You'll see on stage, I try not to put people on stage that aren't running our system, by the way, at conferences. So if you wonder why sometimes there's not other people up on stage, it's like their parts of their business aren't quite, they haven't done that great of a job of copy and implement. Appointment-driven model, warm leads. So our definition of warm leads are inbound. But I got it. Selective acceptance, backstage tour or group interview, which are one and the same for the most part. I'd create competition. I wouldn't do one-on-one. I understand doing them, but if it were me, I'm trying to have several people on the Zoom or in person, create some internal competition, have it sift and sort itself out. So that becomes the inner work, but you got to have the money right going in. So there you guys saw in the playbook here, you'll see 3 grand, use just heard from Steve at 2,500. You heard from Tanner at 2,000. And both of these guys net over $1 million a year. Their net after expenses is over $1 million, which means they have margin. Are the calls being recorded? So what do you do when they're not following your script? Then I guess there's no consequence. So the problem will persist if it's an issue. Now, when I was at your office, I know your business pretty well. There's a lot of leads there, and the guy should be banging down a lot more than 3 appointments. And I watched him run around the office. It was just full transparency since you're on the hot seat. I watched him run around and trying to find information on properties for people. I mean, he comes out asking a question about some property. Was it still available? What was how many bedrooms? Some kind of shit. He was trying to get some information. He's not following the script there. Ruth could have booked those appointments, but the appointments he's booking, you'll discover the listing coordinator could have booked those appointments. I would +2, Carol, put yourself in the position. If you were sitting there and you were answering the calls, returning the calls, how many appointments would you get? Some of the constraints I've seen that you guys have are self-imposed. For example, when somebody calls in to your office, they call the phone numbers on a sign or whatever. Are your inbound calls being directly answered live by your inside salespeople? But you could segment those. I had my clients had a different phone number. What are some of the issues that you guys have had, constraints, issues around inside sales guys that you've hired in the past, brought on, it hasn't worked to your benefit, you're still working at it, it's not going the way that you want? I don't know any $1 million net earning companies that don't have inside sales departments that follow with inbound leads. I know plenty of companies that don't net $1 million a year. That's the majority of everyone in real estate at all these other real estate brokerages, and they're giving out leads. If they do have inside sales, they're calling internet leads, and that's not working. And just a big churn machine. If you got legitimate constraints with your inside sales department, you want to get them out there right now so we can flush them out. So if you guys are believers that having an inside sales agent department is the way, don't try to use AI to replace those. Focus the AI on the other areas of business. Let's make our sales team better. They're the frontline people talking to the customers. I would automate the rest of my business and beef that up with talent, and I think you'll crush it.